Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, it's our last week of Homoerotic Thriller Month.
Sad. Homoerotic
In the
Thriller
last week of
Pride,
Pride.
specifically.
I
Yeah.
know. But
We're proud
we've
all
gone
year
all
round,
out.
but-
We've gone all out. This movie was picked by our lovely people on our Patreon. So shout out to everybody on the Patreon.
Hey guys. Hey.
Kisses, besos.
And we will be doing the 2010 phenomenon movie Black Swan.
Black Swan.
Black Swan.
Were you guys surprised that this won our poll?
No.
No, I was sure we would do Bound this month, so I'm fucking
Yeah.
pissed because I've still never seen Bound. I thought
can
we
watch it
would
whenever.
pick Bound.
Yeah.
I wanted to do Bound, but I think I said let's add Black Swan to the list of options.
So, is of your own making.
So I did
Right.
this to me. But also these bitches have been talking about Black Swan for years.
Yeah.
These specific patrons. So
The bitches
I'm so
love
sorry.
Black
Bitches
Swan.
positive. Bitches
I'm so sorry to
positive.
our friends who wanted Bound because it really was neck and neck there. We had to get into the metadata to see who won after that tiebreaker was also technically a tie. But the votes were unfortunately clear when we took all of the data into account, and Black Swan is the winner. And when I went around Dyke Day asking people their favorite queer horror movies, a lot of people said Black Swan. So I was like, okay, she popular.
Well, I feel like it's a very influential queer thriller for people
Yeah.
who are specifically our age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like specifically our niche of early 30s millennials.
Uh-huh.
Because this
Also-
came out in 2010, like you're either entering college or exiting high school, and that's when you're figuring out. if
Also,
you're
too-
into Mila Kunis.
There's a lot of memes from this movie.
Yeah.
And so it's in the zeitgeist of our particular ages
Mhm.
humor, quite frankly, also.
I got locked in.
Yeah.
You'll have to remind me of the memes, because
Oh,
Like the
where she has
whore
whore in the
on
mirror.
On the mirror is the big one.
I don't remember that being a meme. I'm not,
Girl,
I
you
don't
used to be a
know.
whore,
She's
like-
not as in line as the rest of us, and that's okay.
I'm
And maybe
not,
that's even
I'm
good.
not.
Okay, but if you've never seen this movie, or if you want a quick refresher before we talk about it, IMDb says Nina is a talented but unstable ballerina on the verge of stardom, pushed to the breaking point by her artistic director and a seductive rival.
Ooh.
Nina's grip on reality slips, plunging her into a waking nightmare.
It's
What a
giving too
long
much.
plot
It's
line.
long.
I had
and
to-
it's saying
I
a
had
lot
to
of things.
click,
You need to take a breath
show
in there.
more.
And still
I think
no
it
mention
should
of
just
mommy.
say-
Like mommy, I feel is really a driving force in this movie.
We could have done
Well,
this movie for
we
Mommy
don't
Issues
need it-
May.
That's so true.
Yeah. Oh, did we do? Just bringing up Mother already, okay? And I'm getting fucking mad. The biggest jump
Yeah.
scare for me in this entire movie was after, sorry to talk about the end, but it was to get to the very end. There's a very climactic, beautiful in some ways, horrific in many ways ending. And I was like, ah, yes, that's the final jump scare. No. Then it goes widescreen, directed by Darren Aronofsky, my enemy. I forgot. I did not
I have been
look that
thinking
up.
all day. I wonder if Monica's gonna forgive him because Black Swan is
No.
good.
No.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Because Black Swan is good, but I have qualms. And they're
Yeah.
because of Darren Aronofsky. Now that I know that it was him, I was like, I'm not. The second I saw it
And
was him, I was like,
honestly-
I'm not surprised he portrayed lesbianism like this. I'm not surprised.
And actually, I do feel there are parallels with the movie Mother.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I've deleted it from my mind, so you'll have to bring it back up. Like,
Okay.
I'm excited to hear it, so I can get
Yeah.
mad again. I love to be
Yeah.
mad. It's so fun. But yeah, that was a horrible shock. I think I came to terms with this like months ago when we maybe talked about this before, or like when we did Mother, and I was like, "What? He actually did a good movie." Whatever. He's Oscar award winning, I guess. Fuck him.
I
hate it.
guess.
I just also right before we started the episode, I clicked on his IMDb so I could see what other movies he's done, and I couldn't get down to the movies because I saw a picture of him, and it made me so angry. I'd never seen his face before, and I don't look at it.
Yeah.
He's got
Well,
a punchable face.
He did The Whale, which I have not seen, but is a point against him in my book. So
Oh my God. I just remembered what The Whale is.
Yeah.
Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser,
with Brendan
right?
Fraser.
yeah, and Sadie Sink, and I love both of them, but doesn't seem like it's the movie for me. And one of our listeners can let me know if I'm really missing something and there's something worthwhile in there, but it didn't seem like it to
He
me.
did Requiem for a Dream also.
Which I think is like a lot of people love, but I don't think I've seen. So
Yeah.
I saw it a really long time ago and it fucked me up bigly, which I think is it's the point is to make you feel really bad. So he did
he
succeed
loves
in
that.
that
It
regard.
He
did
loves
it.
that.
Yeah. What is his movie Noah that he did? Not gonna see that. Sounds religious.
Get over the Bible, Darren Aronofsky. Move on.
Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly. It is literally, I think there's a lot of water on the cover.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my
Noah
God,
says, "Oh
Emma
my God."
Watson. Emma Watson's in it. This went right over my head. A movie about Noah starring Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, fucking Emma Watson, Logan Lerman, the hottest white boy of the year of the millennia, and Anthony Hopkins. And it went
A lot of people in this movie. Never heard of it though.
never in my life once. I think they were trying to do something as big as Passion of the Christ, but you can't beat
Devastating.
Mel at his own game. I'm sorry to
Mm-mm.
bring him up. I'm sorry to bring him up.
How dare you bring him up on this
I'm
podcast?
sorry to bring him up at all. But anyway, Darren Aronofsky aside, Black Swan, I feel like was, like we were just saying, a very formative movie for me back in the day because I think it was like maybe the scariest thing I had seen at the time.
That
Like,
makes
this was,
sense.
like,
I think it was
right
like
at-
December senior year.
Yeah, it came out in December.
Well, I was already going to horror nights, so I think I was already into horror. But it was like I don't know, a flashbulb memory of a horror movie, seeing it in theaters. It really rocked my world, and also probably challenged my little budding bisexual inside of me, who was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" Oh. And I still don't really know what's going on because they kind of like give you a little bit of that and then don't really go all the way
And then give you nothing else.
with it. They give you nothing. So interesting. But it's definitely stirring the pot of same-sex lust. So there you go. That's important.
It is an erotic thriller for sure, and it
Mhm.
is homoerotic as hell. So
As hell. It's definitely like the quintessential do I want to be her or be with her movie too, which is a little bit annoying. Cuz that whole thing is a little bit annoying. Cuz
Well-
she literally like thinks that Mila Kunis is her and stuff throughout, but we can talk about that more later.
I was all up in Reddit for this, and everybody was like, and it was just queer baiting. Like the sex scene really meant nothing. And I go, what are you talking about? It was so important. Like, for
I
her
don't. How is
development.
it queer baiting if there's pussy eating on screen just because it happened in her mind? She
Yeah.
gay. That's not queer baiting. I mean, you could be like, bummer that they didn't actually end up together and be happily ever after, but it is a horror movie, so
It's a tragedy
is
that
very
wasn't going to be
rare
a
that
good
you're gonna
thing.
get that.
Yeah.
But also, too, it was a man. So
What was a man?
who
What was a
made that
man?
comment?
Oh, well,
I was like, what? Her
okay.
vision
Yeah.
of Mila Kunis was a man? I was like, what's
Yes,
happening?
yes.
The director
I was
was
like,
a
how do you
man.
know?
Natalie Portman met her future husband on this set. He was a man.
He was a man,
Who?
and he played the prince, but he's also the choreographer.
Yeah. So remember the scene where
Oh.
where she's like trying to do the Black Swan, and Tomas looks to the
Toma.
prince.
You
Yeah.
don't say the S is
Toma.
silent.
Looks
Hotter.
to the prince and goes, "Would you fuck her?" And he's like, "No, that was her.
He
That's her
doesn't
husband.
answer. He's like,
That's
and then
her
he's like,
husband."
see, no.
No.
Yeah, apparently Natalie Portman has been like, see what a good actor he is.
He's such a good actor.
Because they did get married, but the IMDb trivia entry about that is so funny to me because they're already divorced by now. So whoever put that in there was like, she met her future ex-husband on set, blah blah blah. And I do love
So funny.
I love
referring to
that.
him as her future ex-husband, which
ex-husband.
is true and factual.
Which I
His-
love referring to strangers. Like when I go to the bar, I'll be like, "Hi, my name's Sydney, and your name is my future ex-husband." They always get a kick. They'll buy me a
Funny.
drink, and then I will move on forever.
His
As you should
name
with
is-
ex-husbands.
Exactly.
His name is Benjamin Millipede.
Great name.
She's getting a kick out of that
But
one.
it's like
Sounds
it's
like
like
a bug.
millipede, like the bug, but it's spelled like fancy, and I find it to
Whoa.
be hilarious.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
like
know.
me PA, like 1,000 feet. Oh,
Yeah,
like millipede.
Mm.
Like ballet as well.
Ah, yes.
Monica,
yes,
do you want to tell
about
them how
ballet.
you did ballet?
Nobody knows that I did ballet for 13 years. Nobody here knows that I did ballet for 13
So
years.
this is we brought on our special ballet expert this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, yeah.
Monica
You wanna
is
know
here in
how
her own
I-
role, but also
how I-
in her
look.
ballerina role. Look at her; she's got tutu. There you go. Yeah. Do the
Yeah.
arms again. We want the arms.
We never did Swan Lake though.
Yeah, you guys were
Ballet.
Nutcracker all the time.
We did
Mm.
Nutcracker every single year, every 13 all of the 13 years. We did Nutcracker. Also, actually, it might be longer than 13 years because I did dance before I went to
Oh,
Campbell.
you did baby
Oh,
ballerina as
wow.
Yeah, I
well.
was a baby ballerina, if you must know, and I
Well,
did
guess what?
tap.
I was also baby ballerina. That's just as far as it went.
I just didn't want to do PE.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
that's why I was a
kept
cheerleader.
going. Yeah. Oh, that's
So.
great. That works out nice. Yeah. So the point shoes thing and all the foot horror for that, I think
The
really
foot
hit
horror.
close
Ugh.
to home for me because it be like that. My toenails never cracked in half, but like the glamour of being a ballerina is actually just like somehow
Disgusting.
looking beautiful while you're in immense pain on 45 different levels. Really, truly. I wish we had Vanna on this episode also, by the way. I was thinking about that earlier today.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hey, Vanna, what are you doing right now?
I know. I was like, should
Right?
I text her?
Should we be like, we have questions?
Vanna
Hello,
was
Vanna.
on our Suspiria episode. I don't know
Mhm.
when that was. And she is literally a ballerina right now and a horror writer. So God, is she perfect for this? But maybe she'd fall into the camp of ballerinas who fucking hate Black Swan because apparently
Oh.
ballerinas fucking hate the Black Swan. According
Here's
to
the thing.
article I
Ballerinas
read.
hate anything that represents ballet not done by ballerinas. Like that is something that they like.
Interesting.
They all like that. They like get their shit in a twist every single time.
Well, I would be frustrated too if something that I knew about intimately was like shown like this, because like this is only showing like the bad sides of ballet. And I read this article
Yeah.
that's like, I mean, there's a lot of bad sides of ballet. Let me tell you, this article is a girl's blog on
Okay.
WordPress. 10 reasons ballet dancers hate Black Swan,
Whoa.
and all of them are rants. And it's great. The first one is number 1. Nina is a wimp. Quote.
Look,
Anyway.
she's just delicate and fragile. She's
No, but
mommy's
I-
perfect little girl.
Yeah, I understand what the girl's getting at, though. She's like, oh, they make it seem like they're showing you this deep inside look of what being a ballerina is like, but like it's not all like that all the time, blah blah blah. Like not all of the directors are sexually assaulting and quid pro quoing their
I hope not.
pupils.
I hope they're not all like
Yeah,
that.
and I'm like, yeah, okay, we know that part, but yeah, it's not a glamorous portrayal. But I mean, it is a really, really hard movie, or really, really hard type of dance to be doing. It's really tough on your body, and like being in ballet, even in the least fucking professional setting of all time, there's like a lot of like body shaming and shit that comes with it. And for me, I had a really hard time watching this movie this time around because
Yeah.
just like, and I don't want to like be rude, they're all beautiful, but like how thin Natalie Portman was in this role was like
Well, she had to lose 20
unsettling to
pounds
me.
to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
this. And also, it's like kind of implied throughout that like Nina has an eating disorder.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely. The
The
cake thing, she like
mm-hmm.
throws up a couple of times, and
They make
like
comments like, "Oh, you've lost weight." Like,
Constant
mhm.
body checking in the mirror.
Yeah,
yeah.
Constant.
literally, yes, and the measuring, like they're literally measuring her body for her body dimensions all the time. Like it's and like there's such a focus on her shoulder blades because she's having this transformation with the feathers, which I love. But like what every time they show her back, like you can just really, really see it, and her ribs are always visible.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Yeah, so that was hard to watch this time around. I don't think
Yeah.
I
And I
recognized
forgot how
that
much
part
of the
last
movie
time.
that was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like in it a lot.
totally.
Yeah, I could see though why ballerinas would not drive with this movie, just in the sense of I think anytime that there's a movie that's like about your specialty, it's one of those things where it's like you're gonna see everything that they're not getting right and being like, I'm not feeling represented, but also every person that you ever meet in your life, when they find out about your specialty, is gonna be like, oh, do you like XYZ movie? Like,
Hmm.
oh, you're a ballerina? Do you love Black Swan? So now it's like forever tied to you, but also given the fact that it is not a ballet, it is a Hollywood movie. It is going to be made by Hollywood movie people and not ballet people. And so they're like not the expertise. So it's one of those things where sometimes you just know too much to enjoy what is not, you're not really the dedicated audience, you know what I mean? Like it's for the casual viewer more than it is
Yeah.
for you coming in with specialty knowledge.
Yeah, not
Mhm.
every movie is gonna fucking oh, now I'm forgetting his name because I can only think of the director that I hate. Who's the one who did Nosferatu? Who's my favorite? Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Not everyone is gonna come in with a Robert Eggers type magnifying glass to get everything totally perfect in the special little world that he is recreating. Like they're going for psychological thriller first, everything else second. Um
That said, I think they did try and put a decent amount of work into the ballet aspects of it. Like, Natalie Portman was training as a ballerina for a year before this movie even like secured funding. Like, she was paying for training out of her own pocket just so that she could be ready whenever they were prepared to move forward with production.
And I
yeah,
think
she
Mila
did.
Kunis also did like intense like ballet training also.
That said, there was a big controversy
Yeah.
about the ballet in this because they felt that they didn't give enough um, shine to what is her first name? Sarah
Sarah Lane.
Lane. To Sarah Lane, who was Natalie Portman's like body doubles, ballet stunt double, however you want to say it. Like, apparently, there was a video that was like a special like a DVD extra kind of thing that was up right before the movie was coming out, and it was like Sarah Lane dancing and then them putting Natalie Portman's face like on her, and then like right before like the real Oscar push happened, they took that video down. In her acceptance speech for the Oscar that Natalie got for this movie, she didn't thank Sarah. Um and basically like took like the whole Oscar push was being like, Natalie Portman, she learned how
She
to be a
trained so
ballerina.
hard,
She
yeah.
trained
Yeah.
for 2 years. Like, she did the lion's share of the dancing, blah, blah, blah. And, like, people are like, I don't think that that's true. I think that they're underselling Sarah Lane. But then, like, they literally came out with a statement. Aronofsky, Fox, Searchlight, and Natalie Portman came out with a statement that said, quote, "We are fortunate to have Sarah there to cover the more complicated dance sequences, and we have nothing but praise for the hard work she did. However, Natalie herself did most of the dancing featured in the final film." And Benjamin Millipede and Mila Kunis also argued in defense of Natalie Portman's dancing. So it was a controversy, who's to say, but that
Well,
also angered the dance world for sure.
yeah. Darren Aronofsky said that he went through the film with his editor and that there are 139 dance shots in the film, and 111 of them are Natalie Portman untouched, and then 28 are her dance double, Sarah Lane. So it is like 80% Natalie Portman, but again, if she's not doing like the really complicated stuff, I'm sure that's the things that people are being like, wow, I can't believe she learned how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's
They're
like
not going through and being
the
like, that was Natalie,
numbers,
that was Sarah,
yeah.
that was Natalie,
Right.
that was Sarah. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, and I totally understand being like our Hollywood actress who is the star who helped to get this movie made, who signed on to do another movie with James Franco and Danny McBride just in case she needed like the salary to help fund this movie, who is like up for lead actress Academy Award. Like, I can completely understand them being like, she worked really hard and we don't want to undercut that. And I also understand why her body double, Sarah Lane, would feel like her work was undercut, especially I'm sure she was like very excited to be doing ballet dancing for a big Hollywood blockbuster. Well, I don't know if they would call this a blockbuster per se, but I understand everybody's side in it. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes away from the focus of the film, but it's just too bad that she didn't get her shine. But Natalie Portman was incredible in this and
Yeah.
absolutely deserve. I mean, I don't remember who the fucking competition was in 2010 at the Oscars for Best Actress. Sorry.
I'll have to pull it up.
But this is a
Yeah.
fucking incredible performance.
She absolutely deserved.
Totally. I also think that the casting for this movie is really, really funny, not in a bad way, in a positive way, because they have Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman, and they're supposed to like be lovers, but also like look like each other. And I would never have ever said that those two women look like each other, but didn't they both do those two rom-coms that was the exact
Yes.
same
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
No Strings
Was that
Attached and Friends with Benefits.
Friends with
Yeah.
Benefits. Was that before this?
I want to say it was like a year or two after, but I could be wrong.
And it was like Natalie Portman's was with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis's was with Justin Timberlake.
Boo.
Boo to both.
Oh, No Strings Attached was literally the next year. That's so funny. Okay, one was. I'm looking into it. Continue on. I'll
Yeah,
I'll
they
get
also
back
were
to you.
friends though. They were friends before they did this movie, and Natalie Portman was the one that like recommended Mila Kunis for the role. And so it was interesting because Darren Aronofsky apparently tried to do one of those Hollywood directory things where he's trying to like sow discord between the two of them on set so that the tension bleeds into the role and they can use that to fuel their performances by being like texting
Ew.
Natalie like, oh, Mila was so amazing on set today. Texting Mila like, oh, Natalie was so incredible on set today.
Exactly like Thomas in this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Except then they were already friends. So when they heard that the other one was doing great, they would just text her and be like, oh my God, Queen, heard you did so good today. So it didn't work.
Ew. Fuck him. Ew. I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Ew. Gross. Oh, by the way, Friends with Benefits was also 2011. So it was literally
Yeah,
both.
They
Their
came out
next
like
film after Black Swan was the exact same movie, and they came out the same year.
they're so funny.
So silly.
So silly. But But diving into the movie itself, I forgot so much about this movie. I only remembered like the big points, ballet, gay,
Ballet, pussy eating,
tragic
Yeah.
death.
hangnail.
Oh, her picking that hangnail and the skin going like all.
Yeah.
I literally fast forward through it. I was like, I can't do this. I was
When I tell
little
you,
high,
oh,
and I was like,
That's dangerous.
That's why I had to stop halfway through. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
oh my god, this is so anxiety producing. It's like the perfect movie to make you have a panic attack if you're watching it high, because it's like the little visual things. You're like, was that real, or am I the one?
Why am I
who's
hearing
slowly
feathers
melting down?
fluttering?
Yeah. Oh my god. Also, literally this week, I did that. I pulled on a fucking hangnail skin tag thing, and it went like halfway down my finger for the first time I've ever had that happen. I thought about that Adam Todd's comic where you unzip your whole body skin.
Oh
And
my
I was
God,
like, that
what?
was in a horror movie. What horror movie was that in? And then I fucking watched Black Swan for the pod,
And you're like,
and I was like,
oh,
no,
yeah, this one.
it's hitting
Yeah,
too close to home in way too many ways.
Right.
it was like, I remember seeing it in theaters. Like, that was the worst moment for me. And also, in anticipation of seeing it again, not as bad as I thought it would be the second time around. Still bad, but not as bad as I was prepared for. But definitely is like one of the worst moments in horror for me in general, because it's so realistic. Like, it so feels like you could accidentally do that, and it would just, because I've gotten up to like here before or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, ugh, it really feels like that's just around the
Ugh.
corner whenever you're picking.
Yeah, all of the nail stuff in this was also just so grotesque and was giving me war flashbacks to The Substance.
Right.
The Substance definitely, this movie was watched. It was part of it. It was part of it. It was part of it for sure. But I just forgot about what Nina is like, and her whole purview. I know she like took herself really seriously. I remembered that she needed to relax, but this whole, and I would love to hear y'all's take on this like relationship with her mother stood out to me a lot more than it did on my previous watch, or I just wasn't thinking about
Dialed
it like that back then because I was just having fun. Now it's serious as business.
Yeah.
But the relationship with the mom is so so interesting, and like the way she's like infantilized by her mom, that she's like still this little pretty princess like in her like baby room with her
butterfly
wallpaper, which is gorgeous, and I love it, by the way.
and her
Very
ballerina
cute.
music box and all of her stuffed animals.
All the stuffed animals sitting on chairs, like looking at her, like it's one
You're
thing
watched
to
at
have,
all times, girl.
it's one thing to have like stuffed animals around. There's 3 in frame right now. Okay, like that's fine. But like I don't have them set up for a tea party, staring at me before I go to bed. Like, what? How old is she supposed to be in this?
My
Early
guess
20s?
is, yeah, early to mid 20s, because her mom stopped being a ballerina at 28. And she says a line about that where she's like, you were 28, which is to imply like you were almost done with your career
Old, yeah.
anyway. Like it wasn't happening for you, which makes me think that Nina must be younger than that. But Natalie Portman was 29 when this movie came out. So
My guess
it's
is
kind
'cause
of,
they were at a bar. She's probably like 21 or 22.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
like 23 to 25, but we don't know.
I feel like she's a little bit older because I think that part of the motivation in the film seems to be that she's been in the New York Dance Company for at least a couple years. This isn't her
Yeah,
first
they keep
time
saying
around.
like all this time you've put in.
Yeah, like her mom, like very condescendingly, is like, "You're the hardest working dancer," which really felt like you're not the best, but you try the hardest. And like the fact that she was at the beginning being like, Tomas said that he was gonna feature me more this year. Like it feels like, and the way that she looks at Winona Ryder's character Beth,
Beth.
Yeah.
and how she defends Beth makes it feel like a little bit like she's thinking of her own age and her her aging out of her own career. I don't think she's that close to it. I don't think she's nearly as old as Beth, of course, but like she feels and looks a little bit more mature than the other girls, and certainly more mature than Mila Kunis, who as this whole young, wild, vivacious energy, even if they're not technically that much further apart in age, like they're acting very different in age, at least when they're in the dance studio.
Yeah, I would place her closer to 25 than 21 because I think it really is emphasizing like it is not age appropriate the way that she is still at home being babied by her mother tucking her in at night, taking her earrings out of her ears for her, setting up the music box. Like, I think we're very much meant to take in the fact that she is still a child in her mother's eyes in many ways, and then she's
And
also existing in this other place where it's like you're an adult, like why are you not living your own life, like why aren't you going out if you want to go out, or doing XYZ if you want to do XYZ. And I think the movie gets into it, not at first, but it like slowly reveals over time that her mom was like Beth in many ways, not the like fantastic amazing star of the show like Beth was, but in the sense of like you do what you have to do, and sometimes you sleep with the director because the director wants to sleep with you, and even if you that's a different narrative to get into another time. But she gets pregnant, and then it's so like, okay, if I can't be a dancer anymore, I have to be a mother. And so she transitions roles between this one thing that consumed her life to this other thing that now is consuming her life. But she has a girl, so she can live out her dance dreams through her
exactly.
daughter.
She's
But
not
even
fully
as her
relinquishing
daughter,
that life because she's forcing
yeah.
her daughter to become her and do the things that she never did.
And also, as she gets older, I was a dancer. That's everything that I was. And then I had to become a mother, and that was everything that I was. And she doesn't know how to like transition to a third thing, which is why I think she's still so like claws deep in Nina. Because if Nina becomes an adult, starts living as an adult, starts living her own life, then it leaves Barbara Hershey's character to be like, who am I now? What do I do now? What defines me now?
Yeah. And
Um,
also,
go
you
ahead.
go, Sid.
No, finish your thought. Mine's long. It's one of the theories on Reddit.
Oh.
Is
I
with the
also was
mom.
gonna pivot into a conversation about mental illness in the film. So you do Reddit theory, and then I feel we can talk about mental illness after.
So there was a theory posted on Reddit 14 years ago, and so this movie is in December. It'll be 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, Black Swan theory, Nina was sexually molested by her mother.
I do have incest vibes in my notes for how things are gay in this movie.
Oh no,
It's long, but like it's really
no,
good.
I want to hear it.
Okay.
Oh, that's horrible.
So this occurred to me halfway through the movie, and I seriously thought was going to be revealed by the end, but it never was. Still thinking back on all the evidence, I believe the writers Aronofsky dropped a bunch of hints that this was this was happening or had happened in her childhood, but never made it explicit. Biggest hint: Nina's sex dream with Lily. While Lily's going down on her, Nina looks down and at her dark head of hair for just a second, freaks the fuck out. Then Lily looks up and Nina gives in when she sees her face. I think for a second Nina saw her mother, but then the hallucinations took over. The bit with the bar against the door is also an indicator of this happening. I saw people talking about this on IMDb message board, and most people think that it's a loophole in the writing. The bar was removed by someone from inside, but apparently Lily didn't stay the night. It's pretty much impossible that this was a loophole in the writing because they write Nina's reaction into the script. Also, during the hallucination, Lily says, "My sweet girl." Nina's mother calls her "my sweet girl" at least one other time in the movie, maybe two. I can't remember.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that. Oh,
And Lily is not present either time. In real life, coincidence like this happen all the time. In a movie, I'm inclined to believe connections like this are deliberate. Other
Especially
hints.
when they do the My Little Princess thing with the director.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Other hits, her mother demanding "take off your shirt," and Nina
Vehemently.
Yes.
Sorry.
Saying, I was
Sorry.
stuck.
I
That
just
worked.
knew.
Yeah.
Saying no. Her mother about to come tuck her in for the night and saying, "Are you ready for me yet?" Did anybody else find this entirely unsettling? Her mother making her lick icing off of her finger, insisting she help undress her. I also think Nina's psychosis lends itself to this theory. The trauma of being molested by her mother might contribute to the onslaught of her paranoid schizophrenia and her desire to be perfect and and in control of everything. Getting the role of the Black Swan gives Nina the courage to deny her mother's advances for the first time, but it also pressures her to the point of a complete mental breakdown.
Yeah, wolf. Oh my god.
But like,
There's also that part when she is masturbating and her mom is
and her
in
mom's
the room,
still in
which
the
like
room.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily add credence to that theory, but it happened
But
and
it's
it
like,
was
why are
unsettling
you
as
in
well.
the room?
Yeah.
And she like freaks out.
The only bit in that I disagree with is when Mila Kunis is going down on her part, because I thought that she saw Winona Ryder, and that it looked like Winona Ryder to me. And there was one moment where she was like coming into the ballet studio where I thought it was going to be Veronica or Victoria, that other girl, and I swear it looked like her in the
Veronica.
shadow until she like stepped into the light. And so I think there's like this sort of mishmash thing going on. I'm
I thought it was her seeing
inclined-
herself every time. Anyway, we can.
It
we
is
can pin
sometimes
that.
herself. It is.
Yeah.
I think personally, I am more inclined to think that she wasn't molested by her mother per se, but her mother's absolute lack of boundaries and inability to let her have her own bodily autonomy and be in control of herself and her life crosses the boundary into abuse, whether it's sexual or physical or emotional, whatever it is. It can be all of these things. I don't think that it was like necessarily like a sexual attack, but it was sexually inappropriate enough to be abusive.
It's also okay. This is so convoluted. How do I make this sound smart? I feel like her mom also does this thing where she does so much for Nina that to infantilize her, to
That's
make
hard.
her unprepared for the world because she takes on so much for her.
You have to come
You
home to
know,
mommy, who
Yeah.
takes care of
keep
you like
her
mommy.
in under control. Be like, oh, like you're overwhelmed outside of the house because I'm the one who does everything and makes your world make sense, and so you need me, and so you'll always come back if that makes sense. So it almost feels, well, okay, the purpose, I don't know, my brain is wanting me to say Munchausen syndrome by proxy, but that doesn't make sense because part of that is like, yes, your child needs you, but it's you want the
Attention
sympathy
from
from
other people.
others, so
For
that
being
doesn't
sick.
apply at all. But like it's just the like making her completely reliant
Yeah.
on her mother,
Yeah.
because she is so obsessed with her and doesn't want the whole reason for her career falling apart to ever leave her. It's like she's like, I
Mhm.
can't have that. I have you forever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think not to be like if she were a boy, but I think if she were a boy, it would be perhaps more clear that she treats her both as her little precious baby, but also as like her pseudo partner in life. Like, this is the person who I'm going to spend the rest of my life with forever. We're going to live together forever. This is the person that I come home to and I talk to at the end of the day. Like, I think it, you know how people are like, I'm a boy mom or whatever, and it's like you have such a weird relationship with your son.
Yeah.
I think it's the same kind of thing here, and the mother-daughter relationship is able to like obfuscate it a little bit by being like, well, they're the same gender, so it's not inappropriate, but like it still is very much inappropriate.
Yeah, no, and like, I mean, the paintings. Let's talk about the paintings.
The only thing she paints is her
Is her
is
daughter,
Right.
crazy.
and also like she needs another hobby.
She needs any hobby.
They're all
Right.
really bad. They're all bad. They're all real creepy looking. They're all terrible. Like she was like, "Oh, I'll go from dancing to painting." I don't know. You could still do dance classes. I don't do this.
I know.
You
I
could
was like, she
teach-
could be. Exactly. She could teach baby ballerinas.
Yeah, and fuck all those kids up. Good. Fuck up a whole other generation, not just your
Well,
own
if
child.
she's
Why not
dispersing it
spread the
amongst
love?
enough children, maybe it'll be a normal level for each of them.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. There's something about having a dance teacher whose dreams to make it big died, and then they take it out on you in dance class every single week, 3 times a week.
Sure.
We've seen it before. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's not great. And that's not even adding in all of the things that this mommy dearest has going for her.
Yeah, I think it's so complicated because for so much of the movie, you mostly just see her being supportive, and so it's really easy to be like, this is something Natalie Portman's character has internalized rather than something that her mother's character has externalized. But then when you get to the cake scene and it's like, I'll just throw it in the garbage then. It's like you see where the manipulation really comes out. It's not just caretaking and let me take care of you and you're my precious little baby and I'll do anything for you and I've dedicated my life to you. It's like part of the reason that you are a precious little baby to me is because I won't let go and I'm putting you in a position where if you ever want to do that, you have to reckon with the fact that it's going to destroy my sense of self.
Yeah, no, it really like stuck out like a sore thumb to me this time. Like just the second she's in her room for any length of time, I was like, what the fuck is going on in here, girl? This looks exactly like my childhood bedroom. Like in my childhood bedroom that I do not live in anymore, doesn't even look like that anymore, you know? Like, but that's because we had a leak and we had to repaint, but still.
There's something so like important to like the psyche of going from like a little kid bedroom to like a big kid bedroom to a middle school bedroom to a teenage bedroom and then to like your college bedroom, which is the worst of them all, quite frankly. And then like your adult bedroom. Know what I mean? Like that's like a mental stepping stone, and it looks like she's still in
forming
her
your own
middle
identity.
She was never allowed to be older than 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, not to bring it back to the incest thing, because hate that, but like how uncomfortable she is. There's many reasons for her to be so uncomfortable when Thomas is like interrogating her about her sex life, but she is so uncomfortable in that moment, and it could also be like her rote calling things. Ooh, hate that, but I'm glad you brought it up. But I also think another aspect of this obviously is like, oh, classic mental illness in horror. Depictions of mental illness in horror, classic. But it was interesting seeing like the way that the mom acts and then like seeing similarities with some of the things that Nina is doing as well. And, you know, sometimes things are passed on from parent to child.
Sure.
But yeah, I know I'd read about like the schizophrenia aspect of this, which because she's having like hallucinations and stuff. But there's also what? Yeah, go.
I would argue it's like less schizophrenia and more that she's like dissociating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the stress.
Well, what I was going to go on to say is I read an article, and I'm not here to diagnose anybody, but this article had an interesting take saying like it seemed like she had more symptoms, I don't know, but like signs of having OCD. And I thought that was compelling because it was talking about like OCD isn't all what you see in the media of like monk, you know,
And
that's
like
my main
rituals
touch
and
point. Yeah, rituals and stuff like that. But it can like manifest in a multitude of other ways. And like we were talking earlier about the shoe scene and the ritualistic obsessive nature that she does that. But I don't know, this article was arguing like that could be part of an OCD compulsion or something like that. And
it's kind of giving like OCD, anxious, intrusive thoughts too of like, oh, I'm picking at my skin. Oh my God, what if it all just came off right now? And then it's like
Yes.
she looks down and it's like,
Yes.
oh, actually, it's okay. So it's like these horrifying thoughts that are like taking over that are hard to push back against, even when you can like look down and go, oh, that's not happening.
Yeah, I liked that read of it. I thought it was really really interesting. I don't know. Cuz she's obviously got something going on. This poor woman is having the hardest time and she just is so unsure of herself in every way even though she has made this her entire life and has worked so hard and is so good at it. She just like I think Tomas says at one point it's like she's the only person like standing in her way. Obviously there's more than just that, but like she is just stuck even when she's finally gotten what she wanted. And it's so interesting because it's so on the nose. They're like, oh, you're the only person standing in your way, and then literally she sees
Oh, let me
herself
just
in the
have a
mirror
thousand
and there's like
hallucinations.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, and there she is,
And it was
there's,
me all
and there's
along.
other Nina and she stabbed me with a mirror. Like it's a little on
Yeah.
the nose, Darren.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of things in this movie that are a little on the nose. But I do think that it is interesting because, you know, it is true in many ways that it's like her own perfectionism that's holding her back. And you can see again, to go back to the mommy stuff, like where she gets it from. She has this mom that was a dancer that raised her to be a dancer, that is so involved in her life as a dancer, that is calling the dance studio to be like, hey Susie, like, are you sure Nina can't be Swan Queen or whatever? Like, she's still so involved. She's still so fingers in all the pies with everything. Um, that you can see why how that could come from her mom like making her practice over and over, and she's at home practicing over and over until her
Mhm.
toenail cracks, and she's in the studio practicing over and over until the pianist is literally like, I'm leaving.
He's like, I have a life.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta go. You do what you gotta do, girl. Maybe not this if it were up to me, but I'm not in charge of you, but I am in charge of me, and I'm going home. But
Mhm.
you can see how that would be so instilled in her, and how her mom would think like, if only I had worked a little bit harder and if only my technique was perfect, then it would have happened for me. It's a meritocracy, like you just have to keep trying. And so she gets to this point where she is technically flawless, but by making that her sole concern, she's inhibited herself in terms of like letting herself feel the music, feel the emotion of the moment, be in character. Like by focusing so much on the precision, she has stepped out of the like artistry of it as well.
Yeah, she exactly. She's not feeling the music. She's not experiencing the joy of dance because even that's what it's supposed to be like. I don't know. The music moves you to dance. Like that is the like I don't know, the bedrock of dancing, is it not? But she's just like technical prowess. That's it. That's all I can be. And it's so it must be so infuriating for her to watch Mila Kunis's character. What is Mila Kunis's character's name?
Lily,
Lily.
which is, it really feels like
Lily.
their name vibes should be swapped, but
Well, Nina
Lilith.
is
I
like
don't know.
child. Like means child.
oh, that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
perfect
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
And
then
Nina
Lily,
feels
Yeah.
more like a prim little name too. I don't
but
know.
also Lily is like purity, but also like reborn within death and stuff like that. So it kind
And when
of,
you said
Well,
Lilith, that's very
Lilith,
like the
yeah.
temptation.
she's the temptress. Yeah. Um. Oh, what was I saying? Damn, it was good.
You were saying it must have been so frustrating for her to see
Oh,
Lily come in.
Yeah.
and be like be the newbie. By the way, like the there for the least amount of time, transferring from San Francisco, like got the free love going on over there in San Francisco. She's bringing that vibe, and she's like not as good as her, but she has this energy. Like she messes up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she's spinning around and she falls on the guy or whatever. But she's so
And they
charming and
laugh.
She's
They're
so
having
charming.
fun.
They're
And she has
hee-hawing.
that like charisma on the stage. She has that stage
got the raise.
presence.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's like you can hit every mark, but you like some of it comes from like a spark that you have within. Like that's why Jeff Goldblum be like that. He's got a natural thing going on inside of him. Okay. But like someone can do the exact same thing, and if it feels forced, then it's not going to hit the same way. So because she's so wrapped in it, or maybe it's just like, that's the type of dancer that she is, and she can't be that fun and fancy free,
Yeah,
until
I
she
mean,
is dying.
that's the thing. There's like room on the stage for everybody. Well, whatever. In theory, there's room on the stage for all different kinds of dancers, but if you're going to be the lead in Swan Lake, then you do need to be able to be the white swan and the black
and
swan.
the Black Swan.
And I think it's one of those things where, he's like, if it were only the white swan, it would be you. And it's like, okay, Lily is the backup or whatever.
Mhm.
We don't really ever see her like have to be the white swan. So it's one of those things where it's like, would she have been cast initially? Who knows? But I think it's one of those things too where it's like Beth, she can idolize because Beth was there first, and Beth is older than her, and Beth is a star, and Beth was a star when she got there. And so Beth is able to be like held up on this pedestal and be something she can aspire to become without ever feeling like she needs to question herself for not being that. And Veronica has been there the whole time. You know what I mean? So it's like, if it's Veronica who wins, it's like, well, they've always been competing. But for Lily to just like come in out of the blue and like swoop into this position, completely understand how it would be like frustrating and upsetting, and especially when she seems so like sexually free, and that there are these rumors about Toma, and that she does go to try and sort of pseudo seduce Toma, when she lets her hair down and she wears Beth's stolen
Her
lipstick.
red lipstick. I forgot that's Beth's lipstick.
Yeah, she stole her lipstick. She stole her earrings.
Her perfume.
She said, "I
her
want to.
nail
I
file.
want to
Nail
be
files.
Beth."
Honestly,
And
this movie is a little like, it's so white lady. Know what I mean? Like with the klepto, and it's like giving upper middle class white lady. It just is.
sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, to know that sleeping with Toma would be helpful to your career, and to know that Lily comes in and is so like loosey goosey seemingly about things and making jokes about like, oh, you just have to let him lick your pussy or whatever. And to be considered frigid, to be called frigid by the director, and to feel so uncomfortable with sexuality, either because your mother has never let you be an adult, or because there's this like undercurrent of sexual assault that's going on in your background that you're repressing or not acknowledging, or that is still active, ongoing, whatever it is. It's like they're perfectly set up for a clash.
Yeah. Oof. Also, okay, let's talk about tomorrow for a second too. Just because Vincent Castle, I could look at his face all day.
Yeah,
He's got that
evil
freaky
as
kind of
hell,
hot.
but he's hot. I get it.
He looks like a praying mantis. Have you thought about that? Positive. That's a positive thing from me.
Chelsea, put a side by side comparison.
Of a praying mantis and Vincent Castle. Oh no, I pulled off one of my feathers. Oh,
Sad.
I shouldn't have been stroking it so much. It's okay. New prop. But God, like she is going through so much in this film, because to like be in this position with her superior where like she got this position explicitly because there was a transgression between her and Toma. Like, I'm not saying that's what she necessarily intended to do. I think maybe that was in the back of her mind, but she wasn't going to do it. He kissed her 100% of the time, but then, like, now there's these rumors going on about her when she's worked so hard that it's like calling her a whore, all this stuff. And then he's just being like so sexually aggressive to her in front of everyone all the time. And she's such a nervous, beautiful,
she
delicate
doesn't know what to
flower.
do with that.
And he's like mortifying her in front of the men, like, oh, would you fuck her? Like, that's horrible. Ugh.
Nobody wants to like get asked that question. Know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Especially from your future husband.
exactly.
Future ex-husband.
Your
Future ex-husband.
Your future ex-husband. What a complicated position to be put in.
Yeah, and then like, I don't know, like that leads us into the whole Winona Ryder of it all too, and like she obviously was his lover at one point as well, and now she's the lover out of favor, and it's so interesting that Nina idolizes Beth so much and wants to be just like her, and then she kind of ends up just like her, derogatory, which is to say in the hospital if not dead, and like self-harming.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's interesting because they're kind of in opposition to each other in that sense. Well, we don't know how everything started between Beth and Toma. But we get this sense that she's not turning him down now, he's turning her down. But the reason that he likes Nina is not because she kissed him when she came to show him that she could be sexy and seductive, even if she didn't intend to seduce him specifically. He liked that she bit him, that she showed that she could like have a spark in her, or a little
Fight
touch
back.
of violence in her. Yeah, that she could have something of that, even if it needs to be like provoked, which is, you know, rough within the context of this film. But that's what he's looking for, and he like says that explicitly in a quote at one point, where he says like, the real work will be your metamorphosis into her evil twin, and I know I saw a flash of her yesterday, so get ready to give me more of that bite. So he's like being a little cheeky about it when they're in front of everybody, but it's explicitly that she turned him down and how she turned him down. But I do think he is just kind of a predator. So he's just still, I don't know, it's so interesting because I think when you have a director that you actually trust and have a good working relationship with, there is room for some of these behaviors that feel so inappropriate in this movie, where it's like, this is a seductive role, like, let's talk about sex and seduction. But it doesn't have to be like, tell me about your sex life. Are you a virgin? Do you like to fuck? Like, it just kind of crosses a little bit of a line, the physical stuff even aside. But there's room in there where you're looking at it and you're like, I can see how she's like justifying that this is their working relationship, and that he's a genius and that he's brilliant. And I know it feels kind of like Stanley Kubrick stuff, where it's like, oh, he pushes everyone to their furthest extent so that he can bring out this performance, and that is sort of like this artistic genius, and that is sort of the nature of art and making art. But it's also like, well, should it be done that way? And I think that's just like a way larger conversation.
No, you're totally spot on. They're like, everyone's like, oh, he's a creative genius. Well, he's trying that on all these different people, and this certain one happens to be already 3 steps from a mental breakdown, and he just pushed her those last 3 steps. So it's not a great situation. It's not a good situation at all. Ugh. She just needs to let her hair down and do a little Molly, you know?
Here's the thing. That is so of the time period, though, because there was so much Molly being done in 2010.
Sure.
So funny.
Like,
she dosed her, though. Don't do that.
But yes, she did dose her, and who knows if she would have given it to her if she didn't know. But I think the movie makes it clear that it's like she did know, but she wanted that plausible deniability of later being like, you dosed me. But it's like, before she drinks it, she does say it'll only last a few hours, right? And Lily
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
tops.
She
So it's
knew.
like they have a verbal conversation
Yeah.
about it, even if it's not explicit.
Mm-hmm.
But she did pour it into her drink without asking. So
Yeah.
who knows what she would have done if Nina hadn't seen her.
Right.
Probably still giving her the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She absolutely would have.
Yeesh. But they had a sexy night.
I don't
The
want to
children
wait.
don't know how to club anymore. I'm just saying.
I want to go through that dance scene like frame by frame. I only watched this movie one time and I forgot that I wanted to go through and then I ran out of time. I want to go through that scene frame by frame because I feel like there's stuff in there that I am not appreciating just like watching it in real time. But there are so many moments of like hands grabbing that I feel like there's something to that. I feel like we're getting like glimpses of them being other people potentially. I think that there's got to be stuff in there that's like, if you really look for it, to be discovered, that you can't see with your own human eye under normal time.
I'm watching it right now. It definitely feels like she's dancing with herself at some points. It's like, is it Mila? Is it Lily? Is it Nina? It's a big kissy smorgasbord. That's Molly, baby.
Yep.
It's not Nina. It's not Lily. It's Molly. Come on.
It's Molly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I was seeing some discourse online of like when they thought the night actually ended. And I got way in my head about this movie while I was watching it. Because I was like, I couldn't remember exactly what happened. I just knew the grand strokes, like I said. And I was like, is Mila Kunis's character real?
Right.
You're like, does she
I was
even
like,
exist at all?
was she a hallucination the whole time? And then I was like, okay, calm down. Take it back.
No,
This is
I
a
saw a
Mulholland
thing too.
Drive.
It was like, is the mom a hallucination? Like, what's real? And I was like, oh, okay.
The
We
mom
can't
is
do
calling
that
Susie
anymore.
at the office.
Right?
Yeah. No, I think when Nina exits the club and then Lily goes after her and they get in the cab, I don't think Lily came out after her. I think Nina
Yeah.
just bounced and went home at some point.
Yeah.
And I think she's in the cab by herself. And then I don't think her mom acknowledges Lily at all
No.
when Nina is like
She doesn't.
leading her to her bedroom.
Yeah, she's
So,
not
she's not
there.
there.
But just too bad though, because I did think that the little like walking hand seduction to
Yeah.
like fingering her in the back of the cab, I thought that was hot. And I
Well,
thought it
she
was
doesn't
funny.
want to be fingered. She just wants to know that she's wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, no. Maybe she's not interested in people, aka the taxi cab driver, being there.
And
When she
voyeurism.
gets
Right.
diddled for the first time.
Well, I think that scene is so interesting in comparison to this scene with Toma where they're dancing and he's seducing her and then at the end he goes, "See, that was me seducing you. It should have been the other way around." But like that scene is so aggressive. He's like,
Yeah.
feel the music, feel my touch, like respond to my touch, open your mouth." He tells her open her mouth 3 times before she opens her mouth and he starts tongue kissing her and then he just like fully grabs her pussy. He just like grabs it, and then to have the fantasy of Lily like slowly walking over, like giving her time and space to be like, no, I don't want that, or yes, I do want that, or I want to see what happens. And then even when she like removes her hand, she's holding her hand after that. So it's still like not here, not right now, but like I want
later.
I'm holding on to you. I still want to be here with you.
I love that. Oh, that was so cute. See, I don't know how I even feel about the whole lesbian part of this or bisexual part of this because I don't know if it felt like male gazy to me, the actual sex scene a little bit. The masturbation scene certainly felt male gazy to me.
I
which
love that
was
she got so into it.
I loved it too, but I was just like, I don't know. I thought this before I knew Darren Aronofsky directed it.
Yeah.
To be clear. But like again, it doesn't make it not it's not queer baiting because she had a sex dream.
Yeah.
That's
Here's what
how
I
it
think.
begins. You have a sex dream about a woman and you're
Yep.
like,
Mhm.
whoa, does that mean
You're
I'm
like,
gay?
Is
That's
that just a
the first
dream
step.
or
That's the first step.
Interesting. No, the first step is you watch The Mummy. Duh.
That's true.
Sure,
And then
sure,
you
sure. And
go
I
to bed
think
that
that
night
was
and you
in
have
the
a
prequel for this
dream
movie.
about a woman.
Uh-huh.
I think that Nina is a lesbian, and I think that she has never been allowed to come into her own sexuality meaningfully at all because her mom is keeping her such her precious little daughter, so that she's never really been allowed to meaningfully reckon with like what do I want and who do I want and what does that mean for me. And I also think it's just one of those things where it's like it's never occur even if you know that other people are gay, and I'm sure she does because she is in ballet. And so even if you know that like it's okay to be gay and that gay people exist in the world and that you don't have to be like homophobic about it or whatever, it feels like it's just like it's never occurred to her that she could be gay, that she might be gay, and that the feelings that she has for other women, where she's like so obsessed with Beth, staring at Veronica all of the time. Veronica says that at one point. She's like, she's always staring at me. I think that she's able to just like make that make sense to herself by being like, I'm comparing myself to these other women, or I'm idolizing these other women, or these women have something that I want and want to be. And so I think that she's able to like divorce it from sexuality in her mind, especially just because her sexuality in general is so shoved down. Like she's had boyfriends and she has slept with at least one person, she says, but she's so like non-responsive to the idea that it could be fun or something that you enjoy, that I think she's just like, I'm just not interested in sex the way that other people are. Guys are fine. I'm passionate about ballet where I'm with these other women.
Sexual.
Yeah, I think she has put off ever having to meaningfully confront it, and then she loses her inhibitions when she does a little Molly with Lily at the club. And then the second it hits and the second that Lily is within reach, even though Sebastian Stan is also right there, she's like, cuddle with Lily time right now.
Yeah.
Immediate cuddle with Lily.
Yeah, I like that read.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better about it. Cause I don't know. I was confused by all of like the doubling things, like all of the doubling of Nina everywhere, and how Mila Kunis turns into Nina all the time, and vice versa. Sorry, I keep
It did
calling
feel
her
good
Mila
that we
Kunis.
watched Mulholland Drive before this.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I also watched Mickey 17 last night, so there's something to be
I
said
love
there.
Mickey 17.
Goofy as fuck. Did not expect that tone, but I loved it. I had a good time. I had a really good time. I was spiced for that, not for Black Swan. Yeah, so I was a little unsure about what it meant for her to be like desiring Lily, but Lily is her, and she keeps thinking that it's herself, and I just wasn't sure how to parse that, and I don't think there's just one way to do it. So
yeah, no, I think and we can get into this more in segments later, but I think that Nina is 100% a lesbian, and Lily, she could be straight, she could be bisexual. I think regardless, she's definitely hooked up with women, but whether it's because sex is fun and she loves to have fun, or if it's because she has like genuine sexual attraction to or desire for women, that's up for debate.
yeah,
Because she's
think
like, oh, you had a
it's
Leslie
bi.
wet dream about me?
Right? That was so funny.
Yeah. So
One
fucking
of my
funny.
friends, I think maybe Danny, has like loves the line where she's like, was I good afterwards? Like I think that
Yes.
that line is so iconic as just like
So iconic.
she's so nonplussed by like whether or not you had a sex
Yeah.
dream about me, but it's just like, okay,
Right.
but what
She's
I need to know
excited.
is, was
How
I good in it? Yeah.
How was my performance?
Answer is
Gotta know.
yes.
I
She
gotta
was
know if it
really
lives up
good.
to reality. I can't be being besmirched in other people's sex dreams.
So then what do you think it meant with that part later on where when Nina is practicing by herself, the piano teacher is like, you're dumb. I'm going home. The lights turn off, and then she comes across Lily, a vision, I guess, of Lily and Thomas screwing, doing the nasty, and he's a bird, and then he turns into the bird guy, I guess. Like, what is that? It's just like her worst or her dueling desires, both choosing each other over her and showing her
Yeah,
inadequacies in that way.
I think that could be part of it. It could be the like, she's my competition and I think of her as more sexually free. And so my fear is that she's going to screw the director because she wants my part. And I know that she wants my part, and or at least I have this fear that is being externalized that she wants my part.
That she sabotaged me and made me do bad
Right.
drugs.
She
so
made
I
me
would.
oversleep.
She made me oversleep. She did it.
And mommy
No.
didn't wake me up. Yeah, I think it's like the object of her sexual desire might want somebody else, and that somebody else that she might want or be willing to want would be a person that would create another obstacle for her own goals. And this idea that this man who wants her and is kind of chasing her and she's sort of resisting, and so that is sort of working for her. It's like, well, but he might get tired of the game and move on to somebody else who is like willing to give him what he wants. I think there's like a lot of different feelings involved there.
Yeah. Well, I think we're ready to start talking about like where this movie spins out. The grand finale, some would say. And the way that kicks off is with the mom and Nina's like breakdown after whatever she sees once the lights turn off. And her finally pulling the feathers out of her back, right? Once she gets home,
Yeah.
is that where it really finally comes together? Oh my god.
Well, also, right after she sees Lily and Toma, and in my notes I have seeing Toma and Lily, seeing herself in Lily, seeing the evil sorcerer in Toma. That's when she goes to the hospital to go to Beth and basically be like, I get it now. Except then that
And
shit royally
Beth-
hits the fan because she's bringing a nail file to somebody on suicide watch, presumably,
Right?
and or she's just having her own whole breakdown of and
Yeah.
the nail file to the face is so
Wild.
what else is that in? I feel like there's another horror movie with a nail file to the face, but I can't remember it. Oh, you know what? Might be thinking of an episode of CSI.
Mm.
You know the one where it's like the model sister or whatever, and then it turns out she like
babe. Yeah, that's something, but that's not what you're thinking of. You're thinking of spoiler alert. Close your ears if you've never seen any movies. Crimson Peak. Crimson Peak. It's just like the tiny knife stabbing Tom Hiddleston in the face, and then she stabs it into his brain. That's Jessica Chastain. I think it's that might be tickling that itch. At least it is for me. Yeah, there's a lot of like or thoughts online that like that part is totally delusion, and I for one hope that it is, because I don't like the idea of Winona Ryder in any role stabbing herself in the face to death.
Yeah.
She like stabs herself in the throat too. Like if that happened, Beth is dead. And
Yeah.
I don't want Beth to be dead. I hope that she recovers.
And she like transforms in that scene into Natalie Portman as well. So again, it's like, did any of this even really happen? I don't know.
No, there's no way to know. Things are totally off the reins. But what I really wanted to talk about is how her mom reacts to her coming home having this breakdown. And she like has like a plan of attack. And this is like not maybe to this extent, but this has happened before to Nina. It's pretty
Mm.
clear. Cuz she's like earlier in the movie she's like, "Oh, you're scratching again?"
Yeah.
So she's had like this nervous disorder or I don't know what it is, but like where she's picking at her skin, ripping at her skin.
It's called dermatillomania.
Oh, the word is very it reminds me of tryptophobia. That's a yeah, that's something that she's been obviously dealing with in the past when she gets to this level, you know. And she has a whole plan of attack. She when she wakes up, she has the socks over her hands that are
Mm-hmm.
uh tied down so she can't use her nails. Like
Scratch.
she's taken the door knob out and locked her in the room. Like I don't know. So that is could be part of the reason. Doesn't It's a reason, not a justification for why the mother
She's so
treats
hands-on.
Nina like with kid gloves like that because maybe she's been unstable in the past and she might have actual credence to needing to be there
Or you
for
could write it
her.
off as like the mom's trauma too, of like finding her in a bad position previously, or like dealing with her having a previous breakdown. And so it's like, I'm so now hyper vigilant for the signs that it's like, I have to be on top of this. And if she's scratching,
Yeah.
I'm taking her into the bathroom right away and
Mhm.
cutting her nails. And like, I don't know, that not healthy ways of going about it.
No.
But you can imagine that it would be that like her mom again, who's made Nina her whole life and Nina's dance career her whole
Whole
life,
life.
is like, I have to protect this above all else.
Yeah. Oh, but that fight that they have, the like violence of it with Nina smashing her
Her
hand
hand.
and all that. Oh,
Mm.
that's her painting hand. How will she
Oh
create those
no.
horrific portraits now?
Yeah, when she like just starts tearing them, when they're all laughing at her, man, that's tough. I don't know. I remember seeing in theaters for the first time this scene where like her body starts reforming into swan body,
Yes!
and like
When
her
her
legs are
legs
in
go
her little
Yeah.
Uggs. Like, look,
Uh-huh.
I
the feather is
love
really
it.
the feather really is one of the worst parts. Seeing the goose flesh like ripple across her
I
skin throughout
love
the end of the
The
it.
little
movie,
like
the
how
Oh,
sound of it.
well how feathers like have the little like spikes a little bit and you like see it. Ugh.
Well, that's the worst part too, because it's like, when you pull a feather out of a pillow or whatever, because it's like there's a little pokey thing, you can't just like help but pluck it out. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
always like it's the stem that's poking and the feather comes out nice and smooth. But with hers, it's like going the other way. Like the stem obviously would be coming from inside of her skin, like your hair or follicle. So it's
Mm,
like coming out the other way. It looks like thorny almost, the feathers coming
yeah.
out.
They're wet because it was just
And then
inside
her
of her
toes
body.
fusing together.
Oh,
Ugh.
oh my God. I loved that. I loved that. I loved the body horror in this. Oof. It was so
Well, and
juicy.
that last scene where like you see her the feathers in her hands and like all down her arms and you see like that is just such a beautiful visual too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Her becoming Black Swan is so incredible. Sometimes you just need to kill a bitch and then all of a sudden you
It's
release your
my turn.
inhibitions. It's my
Sometimes you
turn.
just have to stab Caesar.
Look, okay, it's real.
It's not like do I want her or do I want to be her or there's a third option is and that is do I want to stab her to reach my full potential, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's
Mm-hmm.
the answer. It shouldn't be, but sometimes that's what happens. You got to do light homicide.
Well, I think it's so exacerbated also by the fact that she is not perfect as the White Swan, which is like the one thing where she didn't have to question her performance as the White Swan, but in Act 1 she goes out there and she falls or she's dropped or whatever is happening in that scene. They're not working together well enough to pull off the performance, and she hits the ground and everybody's like, "Uh-oh, like what's wrong? Are you okay?" And Toma's over there pissed as hell, and it's like then she goes back there and she sees Lily preparing to be the Black Swan, antagonizing her. It's like
Just like
she
she
has
thought she was trying to
yeah,
sabotage me all along.
she has to do even more to like prove her worthiness at that point. Like she doesn't just have to pull off being the Black Swan. It's like she has to blow them away 100% completely because she already has messed it up a little bit.
Yeah. Ah, it's so incredible though. Like she does slay. Like how amazing. The confidence she gets from doing murder. No one talks about that.
She really lets herself loose, okay?
She goes, "Oh my god, I guess I can be evil.
I
The
guess
juice
I'm
is loose,
sexy
baby.
now.
I guess I had it in me all along, you guys. Who knew? Okay, let's do
What
this thing."
new? Let's kill it. I just did.
And then she finishes and she's like, "Oh my god, Toma, guess what, bitch? You're mine. I'm in charge of you. You belong to me." Big smooch in front of
You want
everybody.
to see a
Like,
tongue kiss?
guess what? I'm claiming my territory. I'm claiming my spot. And I'm claiming my sexuality now as well. So
I am a woman now.
I'm doing big kiss, and everyone's gonna know that I'm the one that fucks Toma. So nobody try and do it.
Iconic. She's so iconic. But like I said earlier, it's so bad when you realize you didn't commit murder, but you stabbed yourself instead. Like that, like she should have been so excited. Like, oh my god, Mila Kunis is still alive. How wonderful! I don't have to go
Right.
to jail right after I finish this performance. No, she has to go to the hospital or
Yeah,
the
the
morgue.
morgue.
Right.
Probably the morgue.
Yeah, I one thing I do love though when she before Mila Kunis's character shows up again to be like, "Amazing, you were so good," is the way that she like her color throughout the whole movie is this like very soft baby pink that like nobody else really has, even though it's ballet world and that should be a lot of people. It's
Mhm.
like everybody else is in like grays and blacks the whole time, especially Mila Kunis specifically is like in black the
Uh-huh.
whole movie. But she's in this like soft baby pink, and I love that she pulls down like a soft baby pink towel to sop up all of the blood.
Yeah.
And
Using
then
her
the
old.
baby pink towel was clean all along.
Oh
There's no
no.
body in here, which is also like, well, yeah, girl, did you strip the costume off of her and put it on yourself, or did you just drag her into the shower and then you were on stage in the costume? Like, let's think.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
This is
Oh.
where we get to one of the big comparisons for Mother. Um
Okay.
and
Go.
this is where I will make my
Go on.
case
Mm-hmm.
because big spoilers for Mother. Um, First of all, that movie, I would argue that writer and director can kind of share the same position. But that movie is like to be a writer is to be God, and in this movie, it's like to be the director is to be God. And women are replaceable and disposable. And once you've used one all the way up until there's nothing left of her, and she's trying to kill herself because she feels that she has no worth, you just replace her with a newer, younger model and start over. That feels very much like the theme of this movie. And then also, once
Yeah.
you can see the blood starting to pool through her white swan costume, especially once she's going on stage, it's kind of like getting bigger and like pulsing a little and
Pulsating.
glowing a
Yeah.
little. That feels very much like the poster for Mother for One, where she rips her heart out, but also like that is in the movie itself, where it's like pulling in the wound of myself to offer my heart on stage. It's all that I have to give. I leave it all here for you. So that's my parallel.
I co-sign that because everything you said was still negative towards Mother. So thank you.
Bless.
Um,
um.
Oh, I remember. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say
No.
for a second. But one thing that I think is interesting about the end, and I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it necessarily, is in the beginning of the movie, Toma recaps for them when he's like announcing what show they're going to do, because their whole thing is that they're doing like winter classics reimagined. So they're taking like a classic story, but they're going to tell it in a new light. He says, we all know the story. Virginal girl, pure and sweet, trapped in the body of a swan. She desires freedom, but only true love can break the spell. Her wish is nearly granted in the form of a prince, but before he can declare his love, the lustful twin, the black swan, tricks and seduces him. Devastated, the white swan leaps off a cliff, killing herself, and in death finds freedom. And I think that that arc of Swan Lake is very much like writ large in this movie in
Yeah.
general, especially with like the Lily Thomas stuff. It's like that's her prince and the Black Swan is coming to steal him away, blah blah blah, or at least that's her fear.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how I feel about the in leaping off the cliff, killing herself in death, she finds freedom, because I would argue that that does hold true in a sense for this movie, and also for Nina's own motivations, which are less about finding freedom and more about finding perfection. It's only in this moment that she reaches perfection, that she says, I it's the last line of the film, I was perfect. And it's only she has to sacrifice everything to have that. I don't know what I think about that necessarily.
I didn't finish this article, but there was a whole article where this girl was arguing that in that final moment where it's supposed to be the last mark of tragedy in the film, where she's literally dying after leaving it all on the dance floor, literally, um, she felt like immense relief for Nina that she was passing on at that time. So I don't know exactly where she was going for that with that, but that definitely lines up with the plot of Swan Lake. Um, I mean, she is. It depends on a lot of different reads of it. If you read it in the chat, the sexual assault from her mother perspective, she's freed from a lot of like hardships and things that have been really difficult for her, but you know, like being freed in death is not a
Yeah.
celebration.
Mhm.
So I don't love that.
The torment of living is over, but there's not anything else after that. So
Yeah,
it's not doesn't really
that's not
feel
a
like
big
a
win.
triumph.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The end is it I just find it to be
It kind
immensely
of
tragic, you know? She's just burned so bright. It's like I don't know, it also feels like Icarus in a way with the feathers. You know,
yeah.
she flew too close to the sun and now she's crashing down.
It makes me think a little of the ending of Promising Young Woman, which is like, okay, you achieved your goal, but at what cost, and is it worth it? And I do feel both characters would think that it was worth it. But it makes
They don't
me
care about them.
sad.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't care about themselves. It's like her she doesn't care about herself as a person as Nina. She cares about herself as a dancer being immortalized on that stage in that moment. And
And even
so
if she'll never get to be a dancer again or do any other amazing perfect dances, the fact that she was perfect one time is enough.
That's worth it for
I
her.
guess. Yeah, no,
I
I know
don't know.
you
I
really
just,
struggled with that ending of Promising Young Woman, and
yeah.
it is super upsetting. Like it's like it didn't have to be that way, but that is the only way these two characters could see it ending. The
And
only
And
way
I'm
that
fully
they could
agree.
more,
see them succeeding.
I'm more okay with the ending of this movie than I am with the ending of that movie. Like I feel less internally tortured about it because it feels like a really good ending for the movie. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's not tragic. You know what I mean?
It's totally tragic. The whole thing is like this bright young dancer who's been working so hard her entire life and then just totally spins out and loses herself in being being perfect. And perfect isn't real, you know? It
Yeah.
still isn't real. She said she was perfect. She fell down and she died at the end. That's not perfect. She's dead now. Not to diminish her accomplishment. She was
Yeah.
incredible, you know, but it can't be about perfection. Says a perfectionist, but you know.
It's so interesting though, because Lily is the one who first notices that something is wrong as they're like crowding around her back there behind the cliff on stage. And it really feels like, obviously there are so many moments with Lily in this movie that are kind of called into question of like what was real and what's not, and what is her perception coloring what she sees versus like what are Lily's true intentions or whatever. And the end of the movie when Lily comes to her dressing room and when Lily's the first to notice that she's not okay, um makes it feel like Lily is really does care about her and like wanted what was best for
Yeah.
her, and whatever that moment earlier in the movie is where Toma is saying, "Oh, Lily ratted you out," and Lily's saying, "No, I just told him that you were working really hard." Um, I don't know. It's one of those things again where it's like I think there could have, I mean, maybe it was only a lazy wet dream for now, but if she had
She
lived, who knows?
She showed up to her fucking house to apologize. Like,
Yeah.
she asked Suzanne or whatever for her address and like showed up at her house like that. She couldn't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I liked Lily and I think Lily was doing her best, and it is so
Yeah.
sad that Nina was in such a hyper competitive world with pressure being put on her by literally everybody around her, that she just like couldn't step out of that enough to see that. I mean, she's so isolated within her company. You know what I mean? Like she clearly doesn't have any other friends. She's in the bathroom by herself. She's kind of eavesdropping on Veronica and the other girls talking, but she's not really part of their conversation. And then she's put in the other dressing room to share with Beth, and Beth is obviously not using it once she's in the hospital. So she's just so disconnected from everyone there.
And her mother's been socially isolating her entire life. So
it's such a bummer. I think there was gay potential there.
yeah. Well, it's crazy that like first friend maybe is Lily and she's immediately like gay dream. So there you go. She's just been waiting for this moment her whole life.
Comes up with her messy hair and wipes her mouth.
All?
Are we ready for our discussion questions?
I don't think so. I feel like I thought earlier, oh, I should ask this as a discussion question, but I didn't write it down. So it's gone.
If it comes up back to you, there's always time.
Okay.
But first, we must ask this discussion question: how could this movie be gayer?
I think it is pretty gay, of course, obviously, and I've already presented my Nina repressed lesbian theory. But I do think, as I was just saying, that with a different ending, I think, maybe there could have been something there with Lily in time.
She might not be dead. We don't know.
Like it
That's
could happen in real life. Also, Toma could have been a woman.
Give it like a little Lydia tar.
Oh my god. Yeah. Could have been a woman, but then we'd have a predatory lesbian plotline thing.
And we already have that with the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't have two. I just also love that praying mantis looking man. I'm sorry. So I loved him in this, even though he was definitely creepy.
Let me look at what's in my gay notes. Okay. I have Nina taking Beth's lipstick from her dressing room, Nina always staring at Veronica, Nina watching Lily dance, holding Lily's purse for her while she takes off her underwear in the bathroom. That was yep.
That was crazy work.
The weird incesty vibes with the mom. My notes are licking the frosting off her finger, her mom cutting her nails, which obviously was related to the scratching, but also her mom cut her nails short and then she fingers herself literally one scene later. Mom sleeping in the room while she jerks off. Mom's obsessive portraits of her, no lock on her door, taking off her clothes. And then Lily showing off sexual talk in front of Nina, but then dismissing the man prompting it, like when they're at dinner, and the waiter is being like, "Oh, is that steak juicy enough for you?" And Nina's like, "Yeah, it's plain juicy, blah, blah, blah." And then he's like, "Do you need any more cheese on there?" And then she's like, "I think we've got enough cheese from you, sir." Yeah,
That
so
was
it's
such a
very
good
much
burn.
like, I'm not flirting with this man, but I am being sexual in front of Nina on purpose. And then Lily, again, to go into the incest vibes, when they meet Tom and Jerry, Jerry, whose name is not actually Jerry, played by Sebastian Stan. Andrew. Lily says they're blood sisters, as Nina's trying to be like, "No, we're not related." So that's just like an interesting little thing. There's a joke that Tom and Jerry are gay lovers, which introduces the idea of gay lovers into the conversation. Something for
Canonically.
Nina to file away. The immediate cuddle up to Lily while rolling, and then the Leslie wet dream, of course. Side note, was I good?
Was I good?
Was
It's
I
already
good?
pretty
Was I
fucking
good?
gay.
We should start saying that from now on. Okay, but was I good?
Was I good?
I
The comment
think
card.
that some of those male ballerinas needed to be hooking up too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made those male ballerinas like pretty straight. And I was like, come on.
Yeah, like Lily
At least one of them
hooks
should
up
have
with
been
one of
gay.
them.
Yeah.
She like grabs his junk at one point, the prince.
Yeah. They're having vibes.
Which is why I think she's not really fucking Toma. I mean, she could be, but that's part of why I think
I think
like
that was
she was
a
off with.
hallucination.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other gay thoughts you'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
Matthew Lillard, a ballerina in his own right. Where would he fit into this film?
He could be the other guy with Sebastian Stan.
He's Tom.
Yeah.
He's Tom. He's the guy that she's like blacks in making out with in the grimy hallway.
Totally. I actually think we didn't see him, but I actually think he was the cab driver when Lily was trying to figure bang Nina in the cab. He'd be great as Oh, Daphne, do you have any suggestions?
Daphne.
Tell your fans.
He should just be, this is Daphne saying this. It should be all paintings of Nina, but then there's one of Matthew
Lillard. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in there. I think Barbara Hershey's character is a big fan.
It just makes sense. I think that there's a lot of crossover between Nina and Matthew. So
I am dedicated to my daughter Nina, but also girls gotta watch a movie sometime. And
have you
that face...
seen Without a Paddle?
That's definitely the one that she's picking.
It's a great movie, and I'm waiting for us to do it on the pod. Okay.
I think he could be the evil sorcerer guy in the ballet as well, of course, but...
Yeah. The bird guy.
Uh-huh.
For personal reasons, I think he should be the bird guy. Oh, God. Daphne's fighting me. I think those are all really good.
Slay.
Okay. Dumb bitch. Hard.
A little the mom.
Yeah, I feel like the mom deserves a nomination.
A little Toma.
A little Toma.
Toma, you can't keep treating all of these women as disposable and interchangeable and expect them to all be dealing with it really well.
Yeah. When you're like humiliating them in front of everyone. All the time.
She's our star. She's so wonderful. We love her, but she is retiring because she's too old.
Right.
And I'm telling everybody in front of
Dude.
everybody. And I've got her new replacement standing next to me on the staircase to show that here is fresh, young, white dress Nina and old Beth with her bangs is
don't
down
even
there
see
with the
her.
plebes.
So fucked. He's playing mind games from the beginning. That opening scene where he goes around and he taps all those
Mhm.
girls and so they're all like ooh, and then at the end he's like, if I tapped you, go to your regular class. If I didn't tap you, go to the principal's tryouts. Like, that is fucked up. He gave them
Mhm.
all so much hope and gave all of the girls he was actually going to choose so much
Despair.
dread. Yeah. He is a fucked up little motherfucker. Him number 1. But also Ty. Let's do Ty because the mom
Yeah,
is really
I feel
fucked
like
up
the mom
too.
is-
They're all
yeah.
the mom is so fucked up.
And the mom is doing some lifelong stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
those
yeah.
And I
paintings
am
are really
so-
bad.
I'm so willing to believe that the mom has the best of intentions and just doesn't see. But also, if she's had a breakdown before, how can she not see? You know what I mean? At that point, it is a little willfully blind.
Mm-hmm.
She wants her to succeed so bad.
And also, maybe it feels like a
Blinded by
point of
that.
no return. Like, what else can we pivot to at this point? Clearly, painting isn't working out for me, so she's got to double down on the ballet. I don't know.
Yeah. Tie between the two of them. Okay, that brings us to our knives out of 5s. And I honestly had forgotten that Natalie Portman won the Oscar for this. So I'm
I
excited to hear
know.
all the shit. This was like
Um,
acclaimed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I tell you how many Critics' Choice Awards and nominations there are. But this movie has an 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 85% fresh from critics and 84% fresh from audiences. And then again, like we were saying about the Oscars, at the 2011 Oscars, Natalie Portman won Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. And somebody earlier was wondering who she was going up against. It was Annette Bening in The Kids Are All Right, Nicole Kidman in Rabbit Hole, Jennifer Lawrence in Winter's Bone, and Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine. But Natalie Portman clinched that win. But the movie was also nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated for Best Achievement in Directing, Best Achievement in Cinematography, and Best Achievement in Film Editing. So that is 4 nominations and 1 win for the Oscars. So that's pretty good. And then at the Critics' Choice Awards, Natalie won Best Actress. And then they were nominated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 other awards. So they just like went through the list on that one. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like Mila Kunis, Best Supporting Actress, Darren Aronofsky, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Best Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup, Best Sound, Best Score, Best Picture. Again, those are all nominations other than Natalie's win, but that's a long list.
Dude,
And then if
that's
you like
crazy.
the Golden Globes, Natalie Portman won that as well, and then nominated for Best Picture, nominated for Mila Kunis supporting role, nominated for directing. Like, this is a very critically acclaimed film.
Yeah.
The MTV Movie and TV Awards, of course, as well. Although, actually, Natalie Portman did not win Best Female Performance at that. So I wonder who did. That's
Who
a funny
did?
one.
Who did
Let's
she
see.
lose to?
Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis also obviously nominated for Best Kiss. Again, didn't win, but nominated for Best Kiss at the 2011 MTV Movie and TV Awards. And Natalie Portman nominated for Best Jaw-Dropping Moment. I wonder which moment it was. But let's see. 2011. Natalie Portman. Oh, the winner was the winner for Best Female Performance at the 2011 MTV Movie and TV Awards was Kristen Stewart for Twilight Saga Eclipse.
The People's Princess. Fair.
Wow. She was particularly fantastic that time around. That wig. She had to act through that wig.
She
Horrible.
had to look at Edward's sideburns the entire movie.
Oh,
And
the
her
ugliest he
jaw-dropping
ever was.
moment was beaten out by Justin Bieber for his documentary Never Say Never. So he won that. And then
I'm so glad you're looking this up.
the best kiss winner was Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson for Twilight Saga Eclipse as well. So
we can't.
you can understand why she would lose those. Yeah. I get why the Oscars was not recognizing Twilight Eclipse because notably haters, they were not ready for that conversation. But thankfully, the people at the MTV Movie and TV Awards were absolutely prepared to step up to the plate.
So funny.
The Teen Choice Awards as well. Natalie won Choice Movie Actress at the Teen Choice Awards. The movie won Choice Movie Drama. Mila Kunis was nominated for Female Scene Stealer, and they were nominated for Choice Movie Lip Lock in that one as well. And I feel confident that Twilight probably won that kiss over them there as well. But I'll check.
Damn, who wants to go first for this one? I don't know what I want to rate this.
The best lip lock, sorry to go back to that, just the best lip lock that won over theirs was not Twilight Eclipse. It was Ron and Hermione in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. No, Harry and Hermione. What? When did they kiss?
Oh, in that?
Oh, in the locket?
Yeah.
The locket scene? Okay. Wow, I can't believe that won over Black Swan and also Twilight Eclipse, and also secondary nomination for Twilight Eclipse for the kiss between Bella and Jacob.
Everybody hates Hermione. Anything but Hermione.
Well, I guess they didn't kiss until part 2.
I don't
they were not eligible.
I love Hermione.
Nobody does.
I do. I like it.
No. Wrong.
Sorry.
Okay, wait. I kind of want you to go first, though, Monica, because you have qualms, you said, with this movie.
I don't know what I want to give it. I don't know.
Okay.
I already said them. I wasn't sure what was happening with the gay stuff.
Do you feel that you've worked through some of your qualms?
I liked it a little bit better because of your read on it.
Okay.
I just had a really hard time watching this movie today, and so that's why I'm reticent to give my score.
Yeah.
It took me it took me like 4.5 hours to watch this hour 45-minute long movie.
I
sucks because I really like it, but I just had a really hard time with it today. So I didn't have the like bangering experience that I know that I've had in the past. And even when I was watching it, I was like, I like all the things that I'm watching, but it was so anxiety producing, and it was really like triggering me for some like weird personal reasons that I won't get into like at this time. So it was just a really hard watch at this exact moment. So I had a bad time. But it's a really
I
good
get
movie.
like that all the time. I can go first if y'all want me to.
Well, I will just say I always think it's interesting when we do our ratings, though, because it's so like not even about the movie. Sometimes it's about the experience of like watching the movie and discussing the movie. Yeah. And it's so like it might be different the next time I watch the movie. So I always just think contextually, it's a very floaty space to assign one number one time to one movie.
Totally. Anyway, you go first, Sydney. You seem decisive.
I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I think it holds up really well because this is like the second time I've ever watched it. The last time I watched it was in theaters in 2010. It was a little jarring to see Winona Ryder a little bit. Know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Why is it so easy to forget that she's in this movie? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know too. And also, in 2010, she was still a pariah in Hollywood.
That's what I was thinking too.
It was a controversial choice at the time. I remember that.
Because this was only like her second role back, and her shoplifting thing was like a decade prior.
Yeah. Because I mean,
can a girl shoplift?
Like,
listen, white women things. I'm just saying.
Look, ladies love to steal.
Yeah.
But I thought about that too, of like casting her in this like diva role where she's like being a bitch and like trashing her dressing room and being like, fuck you. But also like, if you're reading it from a more nuanced perspective, like dealing with the trauma of being the star and then being thrown away the second that you're like not valued to them anymore.
Yeah.
But I
Great
really like
casting.
this. I did have to pause watching it because I did get too anxious. This movie, like, I think it didn't make me that anxious when I first watched it, and now that I am 15 years older, it made me so anxious. Like the dread of this movie and like
Yeah.
understanding like some of her stuff and like all that kind of stuff. I don't think the first time I watched it, I like clocked her eating disorder. As somebody who was like in the throes of an eating disorder at the
Sure.
time, I was like, no.
That part
He's
was really hard.
nervous.
Like she's just like anxious and it's fine. But like
Nothing
watching
to
it,
see
you were
here.
just like, ah. But it was really good. I had a great time. I love
Besides
I
all the
love
triggering aspects, I really
it
liked
was
it.
incredibly triggering. I had a great time. I love that it's still like in the zeitgeist of pop culture 15 years
Mhm.
later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it
And
sticks with
I
you.
will be saying, was I good?
Was I
Was it
good?
Was I good?
It's so interesting because I do feel like it does still have a little bit of a chokehold on people when they think about it. Like so many people love it so much and it is so deserving of that. But again, all of us here saw it in theaters and have not like rewatched it since, which is so interesting to me.
It's an uncomfortable movie.
It is an uncomfortable movie. And I wonder if that's part of it because it is so visceral that it is like hard to subject yourself to that again. But it is really well done. It is it's so like gets under your skin with so many parts of it.
Literally, it pulls it off.
Yes, it is like, oh, let me just peel off your skin and then I'll crawl right in. But I agree. I think there's a lot to be appreciated here on a second watch. And as you get older, that you can like really process more of it in a way that you're maybe not prepared to reckon with when you're younger and you see it. And I wonder if when we're more like the mom's age, are we going to look at it in a whole new light again? Especially if any of us are mothers at the time when we watch it, you know what I mean? Like maybe we'll have a
Mhm.
more sympathetic read to what it's like to be in that position where your whole value to society now is like what you can give to this other person as opposed to like anything about you and your identity. So I think that this will be a movie that benefits from multiple watches. And I think it's so interesting that none of us ever like sat down to watch it again after that first time. But I do remember it was so fantastic to see it in theaters. I did get an $80 parking ticket that day, so that was kind of a stinker. I know, Brentwood. Ugh, permit parking.
Don't go to Brentwood. There you go.
I know that was a mistake.
West
But I
Side.
also I saw it with a couple of friends from high school, and I think like if not all of us, the vast majority of us are to some degree of gay now. So that does feel important. And I do remember the pussy eating scene being formative. And I think it is just like such an erotic movie in general in a lot of different ways, in ways that are sort of uncomfortable, but in ways that are very I'm going to use the word arousing in that it is rousing a response more than like a sexual response specifically necessarily. But sure,
Mhm.
that as well. But I'm going to give it like a 4.575.
Okay, cool. I am gonna give it like 4.3. Okay, I'll be nice. Isn't it wonderful when Darren Aronofsky uses restraint? I think I think it's lovely. I think
I
it's
think
a
that's when
lot
he
better.
shines.
I think that's when he shines for sure. Yeah. I can't tell you how much it upset me when I saw that he directed this and that I enjoyed this film. I was like,
I know.
fuck
I
you.
forgot that he
I
did.
I hate him so much. It's irrational. And I'm sorry for the lovers of Darren out there. And I'm sorry to you, Darren, that I hate you so much, but you shouldn't have made such a shitty movie with Mother.
But it's your fucking fault, Darren.
It's your fault for
You did
making
this to
bad art.
yourself.
That's shit. Anyway, I don't know. It's so interesting. Like you were just saying, to see a movie that I was like, whoa, back in high school. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm shaken to my core. And it's hitting me, like when we're in high school watching this, we didn't have the pressures of the world on us in the same way. We hadn't felt, maybe, I don't know, some people had, when they're 16 years old, but like I personally hadn't like felt the crushing pressure to reach perfection in that way. And like I don't know, wasn't on the other side of having an overly doting mother, which that's for me and my therapist tomorrow. But like it really was a harder watch this time, and it makes you really feel for Nina's character. And it makes the tragedy all the more hitting and powerful and emotional. So anyway, sorry that I watched this by pausing it 400 times. I wish that I had just gone all the way through, but I paused it probably 400 times.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
It was a rough one today. But I think that was a very nice movie, and it's a very, not a very nice movie, but a very fitting film for homoerotic thriller Pride. It couldn't
really brought
have
it home.
been more on the nose. So yeah, I mean, we're done with homoerotic thriller Pride, which is tragic, but the fun doesn't stop. We keep having fun,
never stops,
and we stay gay all year round. So don't worry, we're gonna keep asking, how does it get gayer? And I think we'll have a fun time doing that with this next one. Can I introduce it? Did we decide who's introducing it?
Go for it.
We have decided to, gonna have to hold on to your pants here. Are you sitting down? As of right now, we're not doing a theme month for July.
Well, maybe sort of,
but
a little
we
bit.
haven't
We'll
decided what we're doing for all of July. So it could turn into a theme at any second.
A theme has sort of presented itself.
We love a theme.
Enjoy a brief reprise from theme for a moment.
And it's actually, it's a throwback.
But it's also a reprisal of a theme. This next episode is a reprisal of a theme. You might recall last summer we did I Know What You Did Last Summer. But that's not the first summer we had ever done. Before that, we did one that's just, you don't have to scream, Final Destination Summer, but you can scream. You can say summer like that every time if you want. And I don't know if you guys heard, it's like sweeping the nation. It did really, really well. There was a sequel to Final Destination that came out about a month ago, and that's
you thought
Final
there was a
Destination.
final.
There is no Final Destination. Now there's gonna be 400 more. I'll let you know right now.
Right.
There's going to be one every 2 years for the next 10 years.
And
I'm fucking ready.
I'm here for it.
Because Final Destination Bloodlines rocked hard, and I'm very excited to talk about it on the pod with y'all next week. That's going to be fun.
Yay!
I can't wait to talk about our 4DX experience.
Yay! We saw it together, you guys. Isn't that so fun?
In person.
We saw it together.
And boy, were we jizzle jazzled. Oh my God. I was shaken to my core. And Adam hated it so much because he hated 4DX so bad.
God.
He hated it
He'd
so
done it before.
bad.
Why did he come back if he hates it so bad?
Well, he liked it that time before, but I think that he was having a bad day.
Sure. And now he wasn't jostled.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling very good. And I was like, it'll be fun.
I like him up like a soda can.
Yeah, and then he sits down and he's like, I think his like body was hurting earlier in the day, and then he was like, fuck. Anyway, I had a great time being thrown around.
I had a great time.
I loved it.
Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna do Final Destination Bloodlines, and yeah, I didn't think they could top the last sequel, but we'll discuss. Did they? Who knows? And Tony Todd. Talk about Tony Todd. But anyway, sometimes you have to ask the age-old question, was A good? And then
Was I
you
good?
actually have to be the people who answer it in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts where you say, yes, of course you were good. You weren't good. Actually, you were great. You were fantastic.
You were
Every time.
perfect.
5 stars. Yeah, I was perfect.
You were perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, so there's some ideas for you for a 5-star review or a 5-star rating. We'll take that too. That sounds real nice. And why not follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we are at Spooky Tuesday Pod. And we have a beautiful website, www.spookytuesdaypod.com. Check that out and find out every little piece of information about us. You're going to love it. And why not join our Discord and our Patreon? We're party rocking. We're having movie nights. We're talking about books. We have a little book club thing going on right now, unofficial, but we're all reading the same book right now, or we all have in the last week, or at least 3 of us are. Chelsea, you need to watch Julie Chen is Dead, okay? You need to read Julie Chen is Dead. You too, Sydney. Kelly's doing it. Miranda's doing it. I did it. We should all do it.
Okay.
But yeah, we're having a really good time in there. So join us. Join our cult. And also YouTube. Okay, today's a big day. All 3 of us are dressed up.
Oh, look. We've got the Black Swan, we've got the White Swan, and we've got the oft-discussed but never quite seen on screen Pink Swan. Whoa, don't you want to know what that is?
Very beautiful. That's what it is. And you can only see it on our YouTube page. So get on there, subscribe. And yeah, that's it. That's all the things I have to plug. So now I just say thank you so much. Love you so much. Happy Pride. It's Pride all year long. We stay rainbow, whatever. I really wanted us to do corporate rainbow logo change this year.
It never,
June, but it didn't
always
happen.
looks ugly.
It does look ugly, but it would have been really funny. Anyway, see you next Tuesday.
Bye, Spookies!
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.